I'm Dr. Becky Spelman. I'm a registered psychologist. Something that I commonly help people with is unhelpful thinking. And there's ways to challenge your unhelpful thoughts where you can step back from them quite quickly and get resolution or be able to see things in a different way without even having to do very much. So as humans, we often make assumptions that are simply not true. There is just not enough evidence for the thought that we have, but we take it as being certain. So for example, when I work with clients who have social anxiety, they're often very paranoid about what people think of them. And they might easily make the assumption that this person is having a negative thought about me. This person doesn't like me. And even people without social anxiety can still make those assumptions, whether it be an assumption about someone not liking you or a different kind of negative assumption about a situation when you really don't have enough evidence to confirm that to be true or not. So a simple technique that I teach my clients is when they have an unhelpful thought that's causing them some sort of negative emotion, some sort of distress, is to ask a few questions. You don't necessarily need to ask all of these questions. There might be one or two that you particularly like and find helpful. So let's just say you assume that someone doesn't like you and you have that negative thought. You become aware of it. It goes through your mind and it makes you feel uncomfortable in a situation. You could say to yourself, what's another way of looking at this? For example, if someone makes the assumption that someone doesn't like them, another reason why they might not be very friendly towards you is they might have a 2-year-old toddler who has kept them up all night. And it might not be you that's the problem, it might be that they're very tired. There's a few other questions that you could ask yourself, and it might be, what would a very good, supportive friend advise me in this situation? Or what's the bigger picture here? Or is there another way of looking at this? Or perhaps it might be, what advice would you give to a friend in this situation? Or maybe, will this situation matter in a year's time, in a week's time, in a month's time? So these kind of questions can kind of prompt you to look at things in a slightly different way, essentially to challenge your unhelpful thinking so that it brings down the intensity of the emotion you're experiencing. Perhaps you're feeling anxious as a result of that unhelpful thought. And by challenging it, it will bring your anxiety down just a bit so that you're coping better in that situation. As humans, before we start to investigate our thoughts, we often just take our thoughts as reality, and that can really hinder us. It can get in the way of just living our everyday life, and some people end up making a lot more assumptions than others. This is a key cognitive behavioral strategy that helps people change cycles, because our thoughts influence our emotions and our emotions influence our behaviors, and that causes an unhelpful cycle. So this can be problematic for many reasons in many different situations. When negative emotions are triggered, it can be difficult for us to think clearly, and we all make mistakes in our thinking. So this is just one of many techniques that you can use to step back from your thoughts, challenge them and change them so that you can change the emotion that you're feeling. I hope you found this video helpful. And if you would like to learn some more cognitive behavioral therapy techniques to challenge unhelpful thinking, you can get in touch with us at Private Therapy Clinic. We'd be more than happy to offer you a free consultation to investigate your difficulties a little bit more and provide a little bit of advice so then you can decide if you want to have some treatment or not.